Hi, lovely stampers. I'm Cindy Johnson. I'm sorry I couldn't be with you tonight for Creative Rally when I volunteered to do this Creative Rally about 6 months ago. I didn't think there'd be a problem, but my schedule has changed and now I am not available most Tuesday evenings, and it is evening for me because I'm in Pennsylvania. So I wanted to let you know that I won't be able to see your comments, but I will follow up with you in the next day or two, so feel free to leave them. This is the project we're going to be making today. I cased this idea from Diane Evans, and she called it a loaded envelope. And I made this envelope, put a tablet in it, pen, some candy, and on the back there is another pocket to put more items. Now, on the ones that I'm going to show you tonight, I am not putting on the rear pocket. The reason for this is that this envelope takes an entire sheet of 12 by 12 paper. And I didn't want to cut into a second sheet to do a pocket, so I left it off. Though in the measurements that I am sending along to Chris with this video, I will include the measurements for this pocket, so if you want to put it on, you may do so. FYI, you're not going to see this paper in the catalog. When I am experimenting or designing something new, I like to pull out retired cardstock and designer series paper to play with. That way I am not replacing my current DSP or cardstock as often. It's just a money saver for me, just something that I do. So this paper is a couple years old, but so this was my first foray into the loaded pocket. What we're going to do today is we're going to use paper from Delightfully Eclectic. This is a large pack of paper. It's 48 sheets. You get 4 of every design. I like paper that gives me a lot more options like that. It's got a lot of very interesting, very eclectic designs. Doesn't that remind you of a punch we have in a new catalog? There's a lot of interesting papers here, especially this one. I'm not sure what I would do with this, though I do like the flip side. And again, a shape of a new punch we have in the new catalog. Both those punches, the X and this one, is bundled with the Ink and Tiled, I believe it's called, stamp set. And this looks like a ledger out of a accounting book, but I do like the other side. So I'm interested to see what you girls can do with some of the more unusual designs in this paper. This paper, because it's a 48 pack, is a little bit more expensive, but we are in the middle of June. We are in the middle of our designer series paper sale. Select designer series paper is 15% off, and that's 15% off on top of our demonstrator discounts. So that will make this paper much more attractive. And go ahead and stock up on it this month because you're going to find a lot of uses for it. So this is the paper that I'm going to use for today's project. I like the Fresh Freesia. I'm glad it's back, and it is the most important thing about this paper has non-directional patterns. This is a very quick and easy project to make, but only if you use non-directional paper. I'm all about quick and easy. So even if one side of your paper has a design that must be in a certain direction, you're going to have a much harder time figuring out how to score and fold your envelope to accommodate that pattern. I do not have the mindset or the patience for that. I'm sure some of you will do excellent with directional paper, but for me, non-directional all the way. There is no cutting for the envelope itself. It's all scoring and folding. And I like to use my cutting tool, my cutting and scoring tool. I would suggest very strongly, though, that you remove your cutter before starting this project. Yes, you can figure out why I say that. I cannot tell you how many times I cut instead of scored when I was doing this project. So removing it is a good idea. The first step we are going to do is we are going to score two opposite ends of this paper at 3 1/4. So we're just going to do that. One thing about scoring designer series paper, well, actually there's two things I have a hard time with, is that number one, because of the patterns, it's difficult often to see your score line. So you need to score multiple times and check to make sure you see it. A second problem is that I tend to have a heavy hand when I score. When I'm scoring cardstock especially, I like a really good line. One time through and it's there. But with designer series paper, it's not as heavy as cardstock. And you can easily tear or rip your paper, which I have done. So I'm warning you just to score multiple times without putting too heavy of a hand on it and checking. I can almost see that line down here. I can see it at the top better than... Okay. All right, good line. So now I'm going to turn it over to the opposite side, and again, 3 1/4 and scoring. And a little bit more. I got to be able to see those lines, especially with my old eyes. It is much more difficult. Okay, I can see the line. All right, so now you're going to take and turn your paper one turn to a non-scored side. And this is going to be your score line for the pocket. And we're going to score this at 3 3/4. 3 3/4. Let me line that up. Now this one, it's extra specially need to have a good score line, because when you fold this pocket, you're going to have multiple layers of paper. So you need to be able to burnish well this line. And I'll show you that in a minute. We're almost done here. Okay, I can see the line. Good job. All right, so now we're going to take the bone folder and we are going to score our 3 3/4 lines. I'm going to burnish those up really well. You see that this is overlapping, so you can see why it's important to have a good score line for your pocket fold, which is right here. Because we're going to bring this up, and you can see we have multiple layers of paper here, so it does make it a little more important to really burnish these lines here. Okay, and now we're going to create our colored look. Remember, in this here, we pull back this paper. So we are going to pull back this paper to the edge here. We're just going to make this collar. Okay, we're going to do the same with this side here. We're going to pull it back, and we are going to bump the camera. Okay, and now I use tear and tape to secure the envelope together. You could use stamp and seal as well. I feel like I have better control with tear and tape. I feel like it's more my friend. So you're going to take the top layer of paper, you're going to turn it out, and you're going to put the tear and tape on the inside edge of the underside of that top layer of paper. Tear it off. Okay. And then on this side, on the inside layer, you're going to put tear and tape on the top of that all the way down the edge. Now, do not put tear and tape on your collar. Just go run it all the way down the edge here and tear that off. And we're going to use the pick tool to do this release paper. And this one also. There we are. And you're just going to fold these over, making sure that this bottom line here lines up. Okay, and there we go. We got our collar down. And now you can see easily what you have to do with the pocket. I'm going to burnish this just a little bit more. There we go. And I am going to put now tear and tape. I would strongly say do not use glue, especially for this part here. If it were to spread out into your pocket, it would just make a mess. And we don't need that, do we? So tear and tape here, here, here. Tear it off. Release it. Come on, there we go. There we go. And then you just bring your edge to edge, bring your pocket together. And there you have your pocket. Now, to finish this off, I cut a strip of basic white, 5.5 by 1.5, and you can just, I decorated it up, and let me show you the finished product here. I made this my birthday envelope, so happy birthday in black, and then fresh freezer, granny apple green, and Tahitian tide. I put a giant candy bar in here. Dark chocolate is my favorite. It can hold gift cards, more candy, and of course no pocket back here. If you wanted a pocket, it would be a 5.5 by 3.5 piece of paper here. But like I said, I didn't want to use any more of the paper, but feel free. And then another one that I did that I really liked, excuse me for the reach, this is using the Countryside DSP, which also is part of the sale for this month. I made this a welcome to the team. The chamois fits just perfectly in here. And some dimensionals, some more candy, and a couple other items here. This would be a great gift for a new team member. Or you could change up the saying and make this for a team member that has advanced. So these are the pockets that I've made, and I thank you for the opportunity I have to share these ideas with you, and I will turn the time over to Chris or Wendy, whoever is supposed to be up next. Thank you.